In this video, it's my pleasure to be conducting an interview with J.H. Neuberger to discuss the USBGF Instagram page. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos. I appreciate all your super thanks. These small donations help me continue to create the high quality content that you enjoy. My book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. Again, in this video, it's my pleasure to welcome my new friend, J.H. Neuberger. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Good to be here.
Very good. My pleasure. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very, very good. I understand you're joining us from the Chicago area. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm in Lincoln Park for people who are familiar with Chicago.
Okay, good, good. And is it still cold this time of year right now?
Yeah, it's kind of been a mild winter, so it's about 50 right now, which is pretty good for this time of year. Obviously, you're in California, so you would feel differently about that weather, but for us, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's funny. I talk to different people from all different places, and some people say it's good, and for me, that's like way too cold.
Right.
All right, I'm happy to have you. I know we're going to be talking about some backgammon and the USBGF Instagram. I'd like to ask a little background biographical questions, if I may. So you live in Chicago. Where are you from originally?
Yep. So I'm from Minneapolis originally, from Edina, just outside Minneapolis for people who are familiar with the area.
And you grew up there.
Yep, grew up there. And then I went to college in Indiana at Notre Dame. So when I graduated, I moved to Chicago.
Okay, good. Fighting Irish.
That's right. Yeah.
Very good. And how long ago did you graduate? Relatively recently?
Yeah, 2018. So
Oh, okay.
been in Chicago
Well,
for about 6 years now.
very good. And what kind of work do you do now?
So I moved to Chicago to do consulting. For the past 2.5 years, I've actually been working on an activewear startup with a friend from college. So that's what I've been doing full time.
Very
So
good.
yeah.
Good, good. How's that going?
It's been great. It's been a great experience. Might be winding down in the coming months, but
Okay.
it's been a great experience.
Okay, great. And you're not married and you don't have kids, right?
Correct.
That's why you look so young.
Yeah, no, no, I have a girlfriend and we've been dating for about 3 years and she's great. She's also a backgammon player,
Oh,
so
good.
it's important. But yeah, not married and no kids.
So that's good. I did an interview with another guy. I think he's from Wisconsin. His name is Jason Dordal. Do you know who he is?
Yes, I do. I actually met him at the Chicago Backgammon Open last spring, one of Rory Pascar's tournaments. And we actually played against each other in the novice division.
Wow, yeah,
So we
he's
made a connection, which
fantastic.
was really funny. I was actually going to comment because I've seen a lot of these videos, and I know you usually will kind of introduce the guest and talk about their, tournament finishes and wins and whatnot. And I'd like to say that I finished in a four-way tie for second in the novice division.
Oh,
So
that's
I'd like that
good.
to the record to show that I have some hardware. But yeah, I played Blunderblots, which was awesome, and yeah, he's a great guy. I met his wife as well.
Great. That was in Chicago.
Yeah, yeah. So that
Yeah,
was last
yeah.
spring.
The reason why I mentioned that is because he has his own thing with the videos, and he and his wife also play backgammon. They play together, so
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I wish my wife played backgammon. We would have more to do.
yeah. No, it's definitely a fun hobby to share.
Yeah, yeah. So good. Let's see. How did you get into backgammon yourself?
So I read a book about a year ago. So I've been playing for just over a year. And I read a book called Seven Games. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's by a guy named Oliver Rader, and it's basically just like a brief history of seven kind of games that shaped humanity. It's kind of the premise, and one of those games is backgammon. And so it talks about the history of backgammon, and then the introduction of the bots and how it shaped the game. Anyway, so I grew up like with a backgammon board in the house, but I never knew how to play. I know we had a board in the house. we had the Awesome Powers backgammon board. I don't know if you've seen that, but I know. So we had it like I feel like I'm like many people that kind of grew up with a board around, but um, never learned how to play. And then yeah, just started after reading this book and was super interested. And then discovered like the Backgammon Galaxy YouTube channel and started to kind of learn how to play just based on stuff online.
Yeah, Backgammon Galaxy has a fantastic channel. I was actually watching one of their live streams today. There's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's great. And so they had like a beginner series, which is how I kind of got pulled in. And so talking about really basic concepts. But yeah, it was perfect. So
It's great. That's great. So what did you find? So you were the 7 games. I feel like I've heard of this book. What were some of the other games other than Backgammon?
yeah, so it was let's see if I can remember all 7. It was chess,
Yes, yes,
checkers,
yeah.
backgammon, Go, poker, Scrabble, and I don't know if I named 7 there.
I think that
I
was
think I'm
six.
missing one, but
Another one.
yeah, I can't think of the last one. But
Yeah,
yeah, highly recommend the book. But the backgammon section was particularly engaging, which is yeah why I got into it.
so what specifically drew you into Backgammon as opposed to any of those other 6 games?
I think well, actually, I remember being intrigued by Go as well as I was reading it, but then just kind of diving more into the games, kind of just online doing some research and seeing what kind of the community looked like, what kind of the state of the game was, and then kind of how easy it was to get into, I think was really the deciding factor for backgammon. Um, I've since bought a Go board as well, and so my girlfriend and I have kind of like tried to play a little bit on like a 9x9 board, but it hasn't kind of stuck us in the same way. So yeah, yeah, I think like just the ease of getting into backgammon is like an awesome thing about the game is that you can learn it in a few minutes and start to play and have fun right away.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I tell people. Backgammon is easy to learn but hard to master. The winner is the one who bears off faster.
Yeah, I mean that's just about sums it up.
Yeah, it is. It is easy to get play, easy to learn, but they can be very technical. There are a lot of levels.
Yeah, definitely. That's what kind of keeps it interesting. Um, yeah, because you can like I said, learn it in a couple of minutes, but then you can study it for 50 years and you will not get to the bottom of it, which is kind of amazing and great.
Yeah, I remember when I grew up, it was like a game we would just play and we just try to win, and we got excited and we rolled the good dice. And now I'm at a higher level, like a top, the top level players. And it's just like you study, and I don't care if I win or lose. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I just try to get the right play every single time. And if I don't
Mhm.
get it, I'll just study the position and I'll think about every possible sequence in the next 2 rolls, like 1,296 of them, and try to identify the reasons why this is the right play or this is not the right play. So
Yeah, it's definitely a fun like intellectual pursuit in that way as well.
yeah, yeah, I like that. And growing up, I liked math, and there's a lot of probabilities and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so good, so good. And so now you're playing. Do you play like in a local club or just with your girlfriend or
Yeah, so kind of when I started playing last year, I just got some friends into it. And we actually started what we call the Chicago Backgammon League, which is a little bit tongue in cheek because it's like 8 of us. And so, we're all beginner players, but we call ourselves the Chicago Backgammon League. Um, a couple of us have since moved from Chicago. So we still play online and we kind of have like a weekly match that we'll play. And we kind of chronicle this on Instagram at Chicago Backgammon League. Um, but yeah, mainly just play just with friends. I play online. I'm Backgammon Galaxy. Um, the club in Chicago, there is a club,
there
but
is?
it's like a little bit outside the city. So it's closer to like the airport, just like closer to O'Hare, which is like 30 minutes outside the city. So I haven't been to that, but yeah. So as mentioned, I went to the Chicago Open tournament last year, which I'll go to again in May. Um, yeah.
Get a lot of top players, especially even from out of the country there. And I know there are a lot of like really strong players that live in that area or near that area. Like I know Neil Kazuas lives just out of Chicago. He's a backgammon legend. Also, John O'Hagan, also in the Hall of Fame, lives not too far in the, I believe, Northeast Indiana area, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, and so again, I went to the tournament last year as I like just learned like the rules, how to play, and like didn't at all know any of the professional players or anything like that. And I was looking back at some pictures from the event, and I was like, oh, like that's Thomas Tenlin in the back, and like there's all these
Yeah,
pros that are just in the background. I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool.
there were some top players there. You know, I have some other friends that are pretty well known in backgammon that live there or used to live there, like Phil Simborg. He's a big
Yeah,
personality. Carter
yeah,
Madden is from Chicago, and he's well traveled. And also my friend Bob Zavrol. I don't know if you know him or met him. He's been making boards for a very long time. And he's also a very strong player. He also lives in the Chicago area. So a lot of good players there.
yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be like that like the community like they I guess they may without my knowledge, but it doesn't seem like everybody's getting together to play. But like yeah, there are some really big names just in the area.
I know that they do, but there may be like a couple of different places that they play, and Chicago's a little bit spread out, and some people live a little further,
Hmm.
so some people don't come regularly. But there are people. I mean, maybe you can organize something there.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. So recently we've been doing a lot of stuff on Instagram, and you started working with the USBGF to run the Instagram page. Tell us how you started doing that, please.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm from Minneapolis originally, and when I was back home visiting my parents over the holidays, I went to the Twin Cities Backgammon Club event and met April Messick and Michael Messick. But April is, the head of marketing for the USBGF. And so I started chatting with her, and it sounded like the USBGF was trying to get more involved on Instagram. So I basically kind of wrote a proposal about how I thought the USBGF should be engaging with Instagram and the types of content they should be posting and whatnot. Um, and then so I just started last month, kind of executing on that. So yeah, it's been exciting so far, and we're just trying to really just use that really powerful lever of social media to get more people into backgammon.
Yeah, when I grew up, there was no social media. We didn't have an internet, but now the marketing channels are different. There's, of course, Facebook is the big one. It was the first social media. There's YouTube, like you mentioned, with a lot of video, which I think is a very good medium for promoting backgammon because it's a visual game. And Instagram is also outstanding. And I feel like Instagram targets like a much younger demographic than some of the other ones.
Yeah, no, definitely compared to Facebook. And yeah, there's really strong backgammon communities on Facebook. Like there's a bunch of different strategy groups, as you know. Um, and Instagram doesn't really have that. It's definitely a younger audience, which um, is good because these are the people we want to bring into the game. And there's a bunch of people who don't play backgammon, and we want to get them into it. So yeah, Instagram's also a very visual medium. So I think one of the great things about backgammon is just like the aesthetic of it. And there's so many different boards and different board makers, and it's a beautiful game. So Instagram for that is good for that, just showcasing that.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot more of the social clubs on Instagram with the younger players that are almost like backgammon is kind of like a secondary thing. The primary thing is more of like a social club or a meetup club or a singles club. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, oh, definitely. I mean, Remy in with the New York City Backgammon Club was kind of it showed, one feature for Backgammon and how we can get more people into it. So what she's doing in New York is awesome. And like what I think is great about what she's doing is like uh she like it makes it look cool. Like I think it's important for backgammon to be cool, and it was cool in the 70s, and obviously for everyone who knows the game, we still think it is. But it maybe has lost that perception a little bit, and so I think that what she's doing is awesome because it's making backgammon cool again.
Yeah, Remy Davenport of the NYC Backgammon Club. I did an interview with her and she's just outstanding, full of energy, does all this stuff on Instagram. And I feel like the mentality for her events is different than the mentality for a lot of the backgammon tournaments that I go to, where it's like you're trying to win the tournament, you're trying to focus and concentrate on every single play. Whereas at those types of events, it's just like a party and people just
Right.
happen to have backhand boards and they're playing together. And I see like her pictures and videos and get like hundreds of people. I think it's a
Yeah.
great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely, a percentage of those people that go to those events that are just fun will discover kind of the strategy of the game and get into it kind of in that sense as well. And some, percentage will want to participate in tournaments and everything. So yeah, I think it's like just to grow the game, we're gonna need people doing many different things, and I think that's a really important one, just the
Yeah.
social and the element of it.
And this is great. So having an Instagram account for the USBGF allows for the USBGF to kind of reach out to that sort of demographic, a younger demographic. I feel like in those groups, it's more almost like 50-50 men and women, whereas traditionally, like you'll go to a tournament and it's like 80 or 90% men.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, and that's another goal for I know just the USBGF generally, but for the Instagram is to promote women in the game, and yeah, try to even it out a little bit more.
Yes, for March as Women's History Month, I did interviews with well, Remy Davenport. I had done one with April Messick before, and I did a series of backgammon versus the bot videos with like 5 or 6 women, and that was just fantastic. They're not necessarily like the best players in the world, but it was just really fun to have them come, and it helps promote the game to women too.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and like even it is kind of dominant. Like the tournament scene is dominated by men in terms of numbers, but we've had a handful of women world champions, which is cool, and I think we should be promoting. Kiko has won twice when not many people have done that. So there are definitely some great women ambassadors for the game.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So you said you started like relatively recently, like a month or so ago.
Yeah, yeah, just started at the beginning of the month.
Good, good. So I wanted to go through the Instagram page and take a look. Let me pull this up here. Be able to see that now?
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so we can go through some of these. Not that many posts yet because we just started it, but
Yep.
we'll go through some of them. Is there anything you'd kind of like to say before we do that?
Yeah, I would say, well, yeah, so it's the page will be, we'll continue to build out the page. What I'd like for this to be ultimately is, place where if someone stumbles upon the USBGF Instagram page and they don't know how to play backgammon, maybe they, you know, could recognize a board, but they don't know how to play. I'd love for it to be a place where they can like leave the page with either the knowledge of how to play or resources for where they can find out how to play if they want to learn. Um, where they can play, whether it's online or local tournaments. I'd like them to get a sense for like the tournament scene and just make them aware that there is a tournament scene that exists, and then ideally some little piece of strategy or something that can show that it's not just a dice rolling game and it's not all luck, but there is kind of like a depth to it. Um, so that's in general. Like if if someone stumbles upon the page, I'd like them to have those takeaways. So kind of as we continue to build it out, hopefully we'll achieve that.
Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. I've been doing Instagram for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years for my personal business. And it used to be different. It used to be only these posts, but now they have all the stories and things like this. And these What are these ones called? These are stories or these are
Yeah, those,
highlights?
yeah, they're called story highlights, and
Mhm.
it's basically you can make a story, which is generally just a post that stays up for 24 hours. You can pin that to your profile. So maybe if you want, do you want to click on the welcome?
Yeah, well, click on them. And
Yeah.
I was thinking, maybe you can make like one of those story highlights for example, all the tournaments or all the different clubs or strategy, all this stuff.
Yep. So that, yeah, that's the plan. So hopefully we'll have one for just, club highlights throughout the US. So like you've posted a bunch of great stuff from the LA Backgammon Club, like kind of just have some highlights, what it looks like from the tournaments. And then another thing that I know we've discussed before is I'd like to have like a weekly, like what's your play series, and have like a beginner version and like an advanced version. Because like there's a great, backgammon community that has like the Facebook strategy groups that are very in depth, very technical,
Right.
but there's nothing really out there that's like, okay, if you're a true beginner, like how do you play a 3-1, and then and then why? So I'm hoping to do a series where it'll be like a monthly or a weekly post that'll be like what's the play, and then like multiple choice, and then like a 10 to 20-second explanation with like a rotating guest after talking about why that's the right play. And just so
Yeah.
again, if someone then stumbles upon a page, they could go through 10 of those if they wanted and say, oh wow, like I didn't know there was this anyways. So that's another thing that'll be up there hopefully.
Yeah, that's always a lot of fun because I see them sometimes and like you'll see a picture and then there'll be like a question with multiple choice and then you can select. And those are fun.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, so
let's
hopefully yeah, if someone views this video in a month or so and they go to the USBGF, this will be a kind of different look and it'll be much more built out, but that's where we're headed.
That's fantastic. So I'll click on the welcome. We'll start with that one. And it kind of just goes through like a slideshow almost.
Yeah, and so it'll move to the next one in like 10 seconds, or you can just click to the next one as well.
Okay, so I'll let you like guide it. I'll hit the button
Sure.
and like if you want to talk throughout or you want to go to the next slide, just let me know.
Okay, sure.
Okay, here we go.
So again, so kind of viewing this as okay, someone he doesn't know backgammon. Okay, just welcome, and this is what we'll be doing. If you don't know how to play, here's a great tutorial for you. If you want to play a local club, here's a link to the USBGF website where it lists local clubs. If you want to play in a tournament, here's the APT schedule. And if you want to play online, here's some good places to do it. And so this is kind of what I thought, just like off the bat. It's like, okay, what are the kind of the basics, the key things if someone's
Yeah,
totally new?
yeah.
But we'll be adding to that. If there are other things that people can think of, definitely let me know. But yeah, just want to give people just kind of a grounding and some access to some resources.
Yeah, it looks like you have some really high quality photographs, so that's good. We'll go to the women backgammon one. This is fantastic too.
Sure. Yeah. So this is now just like that's a post from Women's Day, and then this was just a highlight of Antoinette. Um, this is her. This is
What's
from
the
a
next one there?
USBGF magazine. Yeah. Yeah, and then it's kind of a shout out to Antoinette. She's just an amazing woman and
Yeah.
great ambassador for the game. And this was actually these were reposts from a chess account that was just shouting out some trailblazing women in backgammon. So I just reposted those as well. And again, Antoinette. So yeah, the idea with these highlights is that as we post more and more, they'll get added to this kind of album that then people can go through them all.
Yeah, there are a lot of women. I mean, while we're on that topic, I'll just go through and mention some of them so we can recognize them. Antoinette, she's been playing for a long time and she's full of energy. She's always smiling. She goes to the New York club and she's just a wonderful ambassador to the game. Akiko Yazawa is a two-time world champion from Japan. She's an outstanding player and also a great ambassador, both for growing the game in Japan, but also for women in general, because she's won it twice. Also, not shown Liga Nude won it once in the 1980s, and she's I think she used to live here in Los Angeles, but now in Florida. And there were some others there, like Karen Davis. She was former president of the USBGF, and she does like a whole women of backgammon group. And Carol Joy Cole is known as like the queen of backgammon, and she's been selling equipment for many years and has been running the Novi, Michigan, I believe it's Flint, Michigan, or it's near the Detroit area, tournaments for many years. And I believe she's going to retire actually this year, but she is fantastic. And many others. I mean, here in Los Angeles, we have Candace Mayron, who does a lot of work as well. So I think that's fantastic. I'd love to get more women growing the game. And of course, we mentioned previously, Remy Davenport, she's just doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Doing those. So that's great. And then
Yeah, Alex, I'd just like to add
hmm.
one name. I can't remember. I don't know if you mentioned Katie Scalamandre, who
No,
won the
I
world
did not
championship.
mention, but I know, yeah, she won the world championship too.
So I think she won in like 2000 or 2004 or something. But I saw an interview that she did with the USBGF Women of Backgammon a couple years ago, and she was talking about her championship win. And someone, it was like kind of like a Q&A thing, and someone asked like why she doesn't play in tournaments anymore, blah blah blah. And she said that she didn't play in another match after her world championship win. And I was like, my jaw dropped. But I was like, that's just wow. There's a bunch of just amazing stories in the backgammon community.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Also, I'd like to recognize my good friend Cara Schultz, who's now the chairman of the board of directors of the USBGF. So she does a lot of work. I've done a video with her. She's fantastic. So great to get more
yeah,
women. And now there are some of these posts. They're not too
yeah,
many, but we can go through them.
sure, yeah. Maybe we'll start with, maybe if you scroll down a little bit more,
Yeah,
just start with just so the Atlanta Classic one might be a good one to start with. So
yeah.
this is just kind of like what a tournament recap post, which would be like, one of the kind of content pillars we're aiming for. So, and you can kind of click through, you see
Yeah,
that right here. But yeah,
this
so
was done by my good friend Jeff Proctor. He does a fantastic job.
yeah. So we'll be posting these kind of after every ABT tournament, just photos and recap from the weekend. So just an idea of where the tournament was held, how many people were in it, and then so if you can kind of keep going. So Joe Urso won that tournament. And so just a little background on Joe
No,
there as well, which I think is like I think it's an important thing as we try to grow the game is like if we can get people known, I think that's awesome. I think that's just yeah, that's good for the game if we can make the top players more well known. So I'm gonna be making an effort to do that for kind of the tournament winners and whatnot. So yeah, it's a little background on Joe and how he started playing, and then just more photos from the tournament.
yeah. These are great. I love seeing these pictures.
Yeah, and so yeah, the tournament directors were great at they took a bunch of photos and sent them. So that was awesome. And yeah, we just had the results page,
Yep.
and then just a thank you to the sponsors who sponsored the tournament.
Great. Yeah. So you'll be doing some more of these. I guess there was the Cleveland one recently, so you might have
Yep,
one too. Yeah.
yep. And so that was at the top there as well.
Okay.
Okay, to the left we have, so this is just like a short reel. So this is another thing. We'll be posting kind of like short clips. So these are a reel is different than a post on Instagram. Whereas with a post, it's just your followers that are going to see it. But with a reel, it's going out to your followers and whoever the Instagram algorithm kind of determines might be a good audience for it. So the reels are kind of a great way to actually bring new people into the game that are not actually not currently following the account.
So
So
it's like a video. Should I play it?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What? Yeah,
There we go. Oh, it's on me.
Come in with a smite. 36, that's pretty good. You kind of want to be on the 22 point. You know,
These guys have rolled perfect the last 3 shakes. What's this gonna be, double sixes?
Four double sixes.
Well, I mean, look, you can see which way the wind is blowing, can't you? 2-6 from the bar.
So again, just a short video, and the goal with this kind of video is maybe someone is gonna be scrolling on Instagram and see that and have never seen a backgammon tournament and be intrigued and follow the account. So that's kind of the idea there.
That was a great one. That was from Atlanta with Kent Goulding and Ray Fogelin doing the commentary. They're both Hall of Famers as well. Yeah, good. Okay, what else do you want to see next?
Maybe scroll. Yeah, so that one on the top left. So we'll be hopefully posting just some backgammon terminology things, kind of get people introduced to different topics and kind of terms in backgammon. So this is what a joker is. Just a little
What's a joker rule?
Right. So if you go to the next slide, then kind of explain a little bit about the history or why it's called a joker, and just so again these are more aimed at everyone who plays backgammon knows this, but this is more aimed at a beginner player who might stumble upon a page, but hopefully there's something in it for even experienced players.
So what do we roll here? Double two?
So if you click the next slide,
okay, I
you'll
would have
see
played Peter's play as well.
Okay.
I liked it. And apparently the computer prefers to run. I like the cover. Oh, look at.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
Another huge joker. Oh my God. The German. This is spectators. This is laughing. What a
This is Mario's 14th big joker of the match.
wow. Wow. Okay, I would have played Peter's play.
Okay, so yeah, so that's the
I
video.
liked it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, just hoping to post content that is both engaging for people who are into backgammon and they want to see this kind of stuff, but also someone who may be relatively new. They may see that and go, "Oh wow, I didn't know there was professional tournaments even and that kind of thing." So
Yeah, that was fantastic from the World Championships. I remember my two good friends, Phil Simborg and Mark Olson, were doing the commentary. That was a great one to watch.
yeah, no, yeah, they were a great commentary duo for sure. So shout out to them. Yeah, so I guess I'd encourage people to check out the Instagram. It's at USBGF 64.
Yeah, well, that's up here, USBG 64.
Yeah, and feel free to follow and yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we still have some time to go through some of these other ones. What about this position one?
Sure.
We can
Yeah, so this was from the Bray's Learning Curve series that is the USBGF posts weekly on Facebook. So I'm not sure if we're not gonna be posting the weekly Bray's Learning Curve, but as I mentioned, we're hoping to definitely get more of the strategy onto the page in the form of the kind of weekly What's Your Play series. Yeah, so this is taken straight from the Facebook.
Chris Bray is an outstanding player out of the UK, and he's written articles for decades, and he has multiple books with compilations of his work. He's an outstanding player. I did a video with him, and he does a great job with this. What else? Let's see. Celebrating women's dice rolls. Let's see this one. Dice roll game begins. Checkers race around the board. All right.
So this was these were from a while ago, but it's a nice haiku for the National Haiku Day.
And then women of backgammon we saw, right? That's the one.
Well, actually, we didn't see this. This
is a different one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
these players.
Yep. This is just some of the great women that are playing backgammon. So this was posted on International Women's Day, and it was just kind of highlighting the USBGF Women of Backgammon group and what they're doing. Alex, you can see yourself on there.
Yeah, these are the videos. I saw cards. I did one on second roll. It's fantastic. It was really nice to be able to speak with the women and just the most important thing for me is to have fun. The second thing is to learn, and then after that for me is to win. But for some people they have their orders differently. But the fun is the most important thing, because I tell people backgammon is a game, and if we're not having fun, then it kind of defeats the purpose.
So winning is ahead of the list in front of playing well. I feel like some people would say they'd rather play well than win, but I guess it kind of depends on the match.
Yeah, I'd rather play well than win. What else? Okay, so that was that one.
Yeah, and also like so the women of Backgammon group on that YouTube series, Michi was on it this past week talking about the double falcon play. So
Ah,
just another shout out. I haven't gotten a chance to watch the video yet, but I'm sure that's great.
I've got to go see that. Sometimes there's a delay in the publication of it, but that's Michi. His full name is Michihito Kageyama, and he wrote about that in his book, Back Checker Strategy. So he has three really good books, Opening Concepts, Endgame Technique, and Back Checker Strategy. And I know he's working on another book about the 5-point match, and he's out of Japan, one of the best players in the world. So
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Yeah. Another great thing about Michi is that he uses such colorful language,
Yes.
which I think is great. And the double falcon play, the double tiger play, there's a lot that just really sticks with you.
Yeah, the double falcon refers to having like two checkers, usually on an anchor, escaping into the outer board of the opponent, and the double tiger refers to hitting two or more checkers and leaving two blots in your board. So sometimes that's right too. And then this one is Lover's Leap.
Yeah, so again, this is kind of would fall into the category of like light strategy. Again, anyone who plays a lot of backgammon, they know what they're going to do with an opening 6-5. But yeah, just kind of walking through how would you play it and a little bit of the strategy of it, I guess.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This looks like a beautiful Backgammon board.
It is, yeah. So that was another thing I want to accomplish here is just showcase the beauty of a lot of the backgammon boards. So yeah, it's the Fatih board. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, from FN Gammon.
Red cherry or something like that. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
You have a board yourself?
I do. So I have that Awesome Powers board that I had I grew up with, so I still have that. But I also recently got one of the Backgammon Galaxy boards. It was like a prototype board actually that they were, I think, I don't know why it was a prototype, but they were selling it at a steep discount around Christmas. So I got that board, which is like a tournament size board. So that's it's quite a step up.
Was it the Earth board or Void board or something like that?
It was not either of those. It has a purple inlay. It doesn't have like the interchangeable inlay, but yeah, it's great. It's got kind of the marbled checkers that a lot of those boards have, which are awesome. So very happy with that.
Is it the one that has a checker tray attached to the side or no?
Yes, it is attached. And so this was kind of like a limited time board that they were selling. I think I've heard Mark Olson speak about this in different interviews, but they have obviously a lot of high-end boards and they're trying to make one that's a little bit more affordable. And so I don't know if this was, they were testing out a production partner or something like that while they had these prototype boards, but yeah, so
that's fantastic. I know they're manufactured by FM Gammon. So let's look at this is the recent one, Cleveland, the Ohio State Basketball Championships.
Yep. So it's kind of similar structure to that the Atlanta Classic recap.
Oh yeah, Neil won 2 tournaments there.
Yeah. So that was kind of exciting. I was watching like the live stream on Sunday and I was excited to see Neil and John O'Hagan, kind of 2 legends of the game, in the finals. I was like, oh, this would be a fun post to make because there's a lot to say about either of them.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Let's see. John O'Hagan and Roberto Litzenberger. And these are the results.
Yep.
So that's the one that Neil Kazaros won with the main tournament, and also the Masters jackpot.
Wow, okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Great. Good weekend. And then Gammon Guys was the sponsor of that tournament.
Gammon Guys makes the art gammon boards. They're really beautiful. I know it's I believe it's Ed Corey who does that. Those are really beautiful boards. Have you seen those like in person?
I don't think I have, no. Really
nice, really nice. And the last one is a video. I'll let it play. So before I start, just do an intro. You want to introduce this video?
Yeah. So this is another of the reels, which is going to go not just to the followers of the USBGF, but just to people on Instagram. So trying to bring them into the game. And this is from a poker tournament. There's like a poker backgammon tournament that happened maybe in Dubai like a couple weeks ago. Anyways, this was an interview that they did with all the backgammon players that were there. One of the questions they asked was, how long does it take to learn backgammon? And so I thought that like this was just a great, thing to export because everyone's like, 5 minutes. And I thought that's awesome because I think a lot of people look at a backgammon board and see backgammon being played and they assume it's just like super complicated and they don't want to, spend hours learning it. But in reality, it's really easy to learn. So it's kind of what we're trying to accomplish with this video.
Okay, I'll play it. Here we go.
10 minutes, and after 1 hour, you're ready to go. I think you could learn the game in 10 minutes. It's very quick to make a start. The rules in 5 to 10 minutes. Easy game to get to a decent level in. Yeah, I remember when I started with Backgammon, it was like in the afternoon. I started to play for money in the first afternoon.
To learn backgammon is very easy. I mean, you need basically a couple of hours or a couple of minutes to explain the rules, but then there's the progress, like in poker, like in any other games, you just get better and better.
10 minutes, and after one.
Yeah.
Fairly straightforward, but again, also kind of showing some professional players and some of the big names in backgammon, again, them really better known.
Yeah, so that's great. So some people are not as familiar with Instagram, but it's really easy. You just open an account and you can follow different accounts and you can have them follow you, send messages, all sorts of stuff.
Yep. And this is also a public account. So even if you don't have an Instagram account, I think you'll be able to see the profile if you just go to like Instagram.com or if you Google USBGF Instagram. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think that's the case.
All right. Any other things you want to mention about this before I stop the share?
No, yeah, I'd encourage people to follow it, and if you're so inclined to like the posts and share them and comment on them. So yeah.
I think that's really important for people to, collaborate. You see the content, share the content, like it, comment it. You can share it to your own story, and the more people that do that, the better. The more exposure you get.
Yeah, and like with your Los Angeles Backgammon Club, we've reposted a handful of the videos from your social events and stuff, and that's another thing I'm hoping to do is, I guess another ask for the audience. So like if you want to tag the USBGF on Instagram, we'd love to kind of be like an aggregator of backgammon content and showcasing different board manufacturers and different clubs and just showcasing all the different people in backgammon.
Is there like a hashtag USBGF 64?
It's not a hashtag. It's just you can at
But maybe you can also create a hashtag and like people can find it.
I think that a hashtag would be good too. I've kind of batted around with the idea of hashtag make backgammon cool again, but maybe it's a little too much. But it could be kind of a fun thing to rally around to get the community to rally around.
That's great. That's great. So that's fantastic. This is really good. It's a great initiative by the USBGF. I'm really happy that you're doing it. Are you enjoying it?
Oh yeah, very much. So yeah, I'm really glad that it worked out and that kind of the timing was right with the USBGF trying to do this. So yeah, it's been very fun.
And I know the next big tournament is the Cherry Blossom in DC, but then the Chicago Open is coming, and you're gonna be attending that?
Yeah, that's the plan. And so I played in the novice division last year, and I don't know if I should be playing in the intermediate or open division this year. Like I think the open might be a bit of a stretch, but at the same time, go big or go home. So I don't know, like I'd love to ask you, like what's kind of the talent level in the open division versus the intermediate?
I think you can measure like your PR and play on the computer like a few hundred games, maybe see what your PR is and see what category you can be. I don't even know the numbers that they recommend. But
Okay.
usually if you've been playing for like less than a year, the lower divisions are probably more appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, just curious. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that going to the Chicago will give you an opportunity not only to play, but to get a lot of content for the Instagram.
Definitely. Yeah, one thing I'm thinking just would be great. And yeah, one thing is just like taking pictures of the different boards in the room because there's such a variety and each one is unique and cool in its own way. So I think that's one of the coolest aspects of the tournaments.
I did some of that for like one of the posts or the reels that I made, just took pictures of different boards and put it up and people liked it. I even did the XG board one. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that, but I've
Yeah.
seen some of those like skins that on the XG boards. Really cool.
Yeah, a guy named Rain from the Netherlands makes them. They're really beautiful. I have like a whole bunch of them and I put different colors and it's really beautiful. Some of the new ones I did was like on the story and Instagram, they have this new AI feature where you can change the backgrounds and things like that.
I've seen some of those pictures of you playing on the beach and stuff.
Yeah, those are fun, right?
Yeah, those are great.
And with the reels, you can kind of like select the music, so you can select music that goes along with the backgrounds.
Yeah, Instagram is a great platform. You can kind of create some professional looking videos just within the app, which is really cool.
The one thing I noticed is Instagram is really designed to be used on a phone and not on the computer. So the images are usually in the vertical or portrait orientation rather than the horizontal or landscape orientation.
Yeah, that is kind of frustrating, particularly with, a backgammon board is horizontal. So like, especially with any like streamed matches, it really appears like really small in the center of the phone, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I think like some of the people are not used to it. Like I put it on the Facebook one time, and the people from Facebook are used to seeing in horizontal orientation, and they're like, it just looks weird.
Yeah.
Like I understand, and I would agree with that sentiment, but that's kind of how like, things are going now. Like Instagram is doing that, YouTube Shorts are doing that, TikTok. Like I don't know how many new social medias there are.
Yeah, but those are the big ones right now, though.
Well, great. Thank you very much, John Henry. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking with me. Sounds like you're really enjoying playing and doing the Instagram and social media. Is there anything else that we didn't discuss that you wanted to mention, or do you have any final comments?
No, thanks for having me. This was great. And I'd encourage everyone to follow the USBGF 64 on Instagram. And thank you to you, Alex. I've watched a lot of your videos and your output is really remarkable. So I'm sure I'm not alone in wondering how you are able to get it all done. But thanks for all the videos.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to do that. You just do it one at a time. I have a friend, he's trying to start his own YouTube channel, and he had like one video. He's like, I only got like so many views. Like, how do you have so many subscribers? I'm like, well, I've been doing it for almost a year, and on my first video, I didn't have any views. So, it takes time, and I really enjoy it. Hopefully, I can have you on for another video. We talked about playing a match versus the bot, and that's fantastic. I enjoy having players of all different levels because there are different things you could do and different things you learn, and it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I've seen, the videos like Wilcox Snelling's playing and he makes the game look easy and like I'll get myself into situations where I'm like I can complicate the game unnecessarily. So it might be good for people to see some beginner mistakes, I guess.
Yeah, happy to have you. So fantastic. Thank you again to John Henry Neuberger, working the USBGF 64 Instagram. I'll put a link in the description for people to follow, and then we'll go ahead and conclude the video. Thank you to the viewers for joining. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I have. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, so I can work on that. I appreciate all the super thanks. These small donations help me continue creating the high quality content for you to enjoy. Again, my book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing everyone in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.